Okay, lines. Now, most lines are accomplished with our legs, and then we have some that are accomplished with our arms and some that are accomplished just with our heads. You have to first of all get a picture in your mind of what you want to create, and then start creating that through the body mechanics. So what we're going to do here is just do, first of all, how to create just a curved body line. To create that, you have to think of when you dance, your weight is on one foot or the other. So let's put our weight now on our left foot out to the side, and our right foot just kind of pointed to, actually to the side of us, okay? The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to allow our hips, and I'm going to turn Sarah sideways so you can see this first one. She's going to allow her hips to bend forward, come forward a little bit by taking her knee over the ball of her foot. All right, this is going to put her head back a little bit because her hips are now forward. And her head, if you took a drop line, like a plumb line in construction, and you were to drop it right off there, it would come right into her supporting heel. Okay, now you relax. Now you never use the hips forward by themselves, just the same way as you really have the weight on both feet at one time. All right, so you have the weight on one foot, you have your hips forward. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to have a little bit of body turn. Okay, let's do it with the right leg this time. Put your weight on your right leg, and let's take the hips forward, and now take the left hip more forward than the right hip. And this way it gives us a nice contra type position. The next thing we're going to do is lower our left hip, okay, and that gives us a three-dimensional picture. So what we're getting is we're getting the hips coming forward. We're also getting, that's both hips coming forward. Now if we take one hip more forward than the other, like our left hip, and then we lower our left hip, we're creating a picture that's curved in any line. If you look at me from this side, I'm still creating a curved picture from any line. And this is a three-dimensional picture then. If I did it on the left leg and I'm just coming right at you, you're looking at me this way, you can still see I'm curved one way. Come here. Go ahead and make the line. There you go. Lower the hip. Okay, you can see the curve this way. If I were to turn Sarah a quarter turn so she was making the line at somebody else, go ahead, same thing. All right, you can still see the curve coming in another direction. If I turn her another quarter turn, so from the back side, you can see the curve there. If I turn her one more quarter turn, you can see the curve from any position. So that's something you want to work on a lot, is being able to take the knee, one knee or the other, over the supporting ball of the foot. And then you're going to take the opposite hip more forward than the other one. Then you're going to allow that to lower just a little bit. All right, and that's one way to create the line. The other way to create the line is to, from your supporting leg, is to take same side, hip, rib cage, and shoulder forward in relation to that leg, and you can get a line that stretches out one way. One's a contra type line, the other one's same side, same leg. All right, if I did that from the back side, I have my right hand extended forward as I'm supporting my weight on my right leg. I have my left hand extending forward as I support my weight on my right leg. If I did that from the side, it'd be there. One more thing I want to talk to you about in relation to that line is how the body works in opposition sometimes, together in other times. If Sarah were to lift up her left leg and she were to pull it, turn it in, and pull her right hip forward, she would be squeezing with these hip flexor muscles here. If she did it with the other leg, bringing it up this way, again, she's squeezing with the hip flexor muscle. She's pulling her left hip, in this case, towards her right knee, bringing those in very strongly. All right, when she creates this contra line here, go ahead there, and we create this line this way, we're doing that. We're taking our left hip towards our right leg, not so tight that we can't create the line. Now go on the other side, so we keep switching it. Now, one other thing I want you to think about is a long left side of your neck as you push the right side of your back forward. So you're taking your right hip forward, and then you're taking your right side, upper back, and then stretching the left side of your neck that way. And if we did it the other way, this is how we create that line at the beginning of our wall. She lays her head back on the body, and then we have back stretched up, the neck stretched, okay? So you're working on a curved line. Now, how that relates to the feet, that's how you're creating body lines. When you start going into any kind of a kick, first let's just talk about a développé by itself. On a développé, there's a lot of ways to do it, and usually what you're going to do is you're going to do it with the leg that's on the other side of the audience that you're projecting to. So in this case, if Sarah's right side is towards you, and let's say the people out there in camera land are our audience, she's going to do the développé with her left leg. Now she can bring it just straight up the leg and then out straight forward, which is the hardest way to do it. in terms of not so much bringing it up, but if you go ahead and bring it forward. To bring the leg straight forward in relation to your center of gravity is the hardest way to lift your leg. You're going to get the least extension up. If Sarah were to turn her body this way and bring her leg to the same place, out to the side here, it's allowing her leg to come out to the side of her instead of straight forward, a bit of a splayed type position. So if I turned her so she kicked straight towards the camera, you can see her body's not going to be facing the camera. Her left side, her left leg are going to be moving towards the camera. Her head's going to be looking out, which would now be the audience, which would be this way. So if she went ahead and did that kick, bring it up and extend it out this way, all right, you can see it's to the side of her, not directly forward. You'll find you can get a much higher kick by using that. That's not a ballet type action. The difference between this type of dancing and ballet is we're going to round off the corners a little bit to cheat in some ways. Also, because of the type of costuming that we'll have, the lady usually wears a dress. We can do certain things that in ballet they wouldn't want to do because of the classical lines they're trying to create there. Okay, now you can also bring the left leg. Once we have it extended, it's extended, but to bring it up, you can bring it across. Go ahead and bring it across and then up the leg, and then you can let it lift out to the side. Then you want to let it come down and recover, and then you can step forward with it. If you're doing a waltz, you could do a heel lead. If you're doing two-step, you would kick, let it come down and recover, and then do your quick balls of the feet. All right, if she did it on the other side, she could step, bring the foot across, and then do her kick and extend on out. Now, if we combine the leg line in with a body line, the body line's going to start creating a shape, and you want that to develop as the foot develops. So as I bring the foot across, as I start to bring my foot up, I'm going to start creating a shape, and then let the leg extend out, and then recover with it. I can let my foot go a lot higher by extending my body back than I can if I'm just leaving it here. All right, so if I'm using, and Sarah's not going to be pulling or pushing on me. She's using me like I am a ballet bar, in that she's just finding this little place to balance on. So as she starts leaning back and doing her kick, and bring it on back. Okay, other things you can do is you compensate. Because the body is creating a shape this way, we don't want the hands going up in the man's face. So we compensate. We still want the body shape to go back, but we compensate by holding the arms level. So the arms are holding level as the body shape goes back and the leg goes up. This is what allows the man, as he steps into this, to be able to get a line that moves towards the lady, and it's not stuck up here in her face. So ladies, you can let your body shape go back, but leave your arm at the same place it was. It'll give you a little offset line here in the shoulders, which is okay for that little second while you're doing the kick. All right? So now we've combined two things together. One is a body shape, and now what you want to think about doing is that practice it with your right side turned towards your audience, which will be kicking your left leg, which means your right hip will be slightly down as you kick your left leg, and then try and do it on the other side. You'll find the opposite is true. Your left hip is slightly down as your shape holds this position. You're lifting up to the left side. The right side of the neck is stretching as the right leg goes to kick. All right? Next thing, forward attitudes and back attitudes. Okay? To create a forward attitude, you're just picking the right knee up, or you're picking the left knee up, and you're picking it up across the front of you. My knee, or Sarah's knee in this case, is directly even with like her belly button. Relax. She's not lifting it up out over here, which will make it look like she's peeing on a fire hydrant, and we don't want that. Okay? A back attitude. She's going to try and lift it up so her foot either comes even with her center or off to her side over here, depending on how far she wants it. When you take the leg back, relax. If you think of just trying to take it straight behind you and keep it as straight as possible, but lift it as high as you can, you'll probably end up with an attitude type position. Go ahead and do it again. All right, it's there. Okay, now relax. Now, ways to practice that. Let me sit on the floor here for a second. If you want to practice the foot position, here I'm holding a double attitude, forward attitude, back attitude. On the forward attitude, what you want to try and do is keep the heel lifted. On the back attitude, you want to try and keep the toes lifted. If I did it the other way, here, I'm trying to keep the toes lifted up back here by pushing the heel down, and I'm trying to keep the heel lifted up here. And so if I'm doing both positions, this is giving me the nice leg line. All right, these are things that you want to practice doing, keeping your knee down, your heel up, Keep your knee down, your toe up. All right? So practice sitting on the floor, doing lines like that. That'll help you a lot. At the same time, you really want to think of flexion of the foot, extension of the foot. And when you do these lines, you not only want your foot extended, but you want your leg turned out. Because as I'm holding it up, this is what creates the straight leg line. If I let my leg be straight here with no turnout, it's harder to make the knee not look like it's bent. If I keep my leg turned out, I can accomplish that position. If I keep it straight, it's harder to do. All right? Now, next thing are just kicks. You can do this as a développé as she steps back. You can also think of it as a kick. Waltz music and two-step music is fast enough that if she steps back with here and brings it across, she can think of kicking the foot up. And next thing you want to do is, even if you're creating a shape here, don't bounce the body. It needs to be very fluid, very smooth. You need to keep your balance right over it. All right? Next line, scoop kicks. On a scoop kick, it's just an envelope. We bring the right leg forward, bring it back, and put it down. If we did a développé, we'd be bringing it up, taking it forward, bringing it down. So in a scoop, we take the leg out first, like in a kick, and then circle it back and down. And you can do these things where you walk forward, or you can do a scoop and walk back. Either way, all right, with either foot. Scoop kicks are really nice if you're doing them step with the left foot. We can do a scoop and step back, and then she can do a développé. So let's do that again. We can do a scoop, step développé. Okay, the lady can do a step where she steps with her right foot across, and she does a scoop with her left leg, turns, and then does a développé with her right leg. And the man does coordinating lines. That's a step that we have on our Waltz 3 tape. If you're interested, it's really combined nicely together. Okay, but that's a combination of different leg lines where she's doing a scoop and then a développé. Okay, so now we've covered a lot of different lines that you can do with your feet. The next one, though, is the ronde, and we talked about that a little bit earlier, and we were saying that if you point the foot in front of you, and then you take it out to the side, and then you take it behind you, and then you bring it through, you've completed a full circle. Normally when you're dancing, you won't do it exactly like that. You'll actually bring your foot from somewhere across here, and then let it go through front to the side, and then it'll usually come either together or it'll step back and across. So if I did that from the side, if we had the foot forward and across us, and then it went forward and to the side, and then together, or if we did it from forward and across, forward, to the side, and back behind, you can see that the foot's not really going to the back. And let me show you why. If the lady were to do a ronde out of a set of pivots, here, she would want to bring the foot back so that she could step onto it. So you can see when Sarah's doing this, as she starts to turn, and just turn first, don't take the foot. As she starts to turn, the foot's forward and across her. As she continues to turn, the foot goes to a forward position, then out to a side position, then back and across. If you combine a ronde and a kick together, you get what we call a fan kick. And on a fan type kick, she's going to take the foot up high and then let it come down. And she's doing just a little bit of lift, a little kick there as she does it. She's combining the kick together with the ronde. Lifting the leg, letting it circle, letting it fan out to the side. Those are really, really nice to use. You can use those in combination with each other. If we did like a check, and then came through here, I'm taking my ronde from front to back, back to front, she's taking hers from front to back, and we're combining them both at the same time. And we're just doing a little fan action, just taking it off the floor a little bit. You can take it as high or as low as you want. If we both took it very high, we'd want to hit the high point. Sarah between front and side, and me between side and front. So she came from the check again, we're going to kick a little real high fan kick here, boom, into the next part. Same type thing, it depends on the image of what you want. So we've covered rondes, which is a leg type line. We've covered body lines in different positions. Next thing we want to cover are ripples. When you start thinking of a ripple, it's a body action again. And a good way to do a ripple, I'm going to use Sarah as a wall here. Pretend she's a wall. It's hard to do, I know. Okay. What I'm going to think of doing is put my right foot close to that wall, and I'm going to take my hips back to the wall, and then as I pull my hips away, I'm going to put my low back to it, and then slowly, till everything comes back over my right foot. So I take my hips back, and then I roll on up. All right. If I were the wall and Sarah did that, she could take her right foot back to me, and she'd bring her hips back to me, and then she'd roll up. Okay? Whichever way you do it doesn't really matter. And you can also use the idea if I took a hand here, all right, and if I were going to bring it across the front of Sarah here, I'd want her to pull her head forward away from it. Forward away from it. Now pull your shoulders away. Well, let's have Sarah do this to me. She's not quite sure what I'm doing here. Okay. If she were holding it here and she were going to bring it, I could bring it sideways out of the picture. If she were taking it the other way, I could pull my head away, and then I'd pull my shoulders away, then I'd pull the rib cage away, then the hips away, then I'd bring it all back into line. If she were doing it this way, I could pull it forward and away. Okay, you can use the wall, and anytime you use the wall, use Sarah as the wall again. Whichever way, if you did it sideways, I could pull my head away from the wall, then my shoulders away from the wall, my rib cage away, then my hips away. And if the wall were over here, I could bring it all back. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. You can take the head, shoulders, upper back, lower back, or you can take the low back to the upper back. Those are different roles when you put those in combination with a partner. If you think about man's left foot is forward, lady's right foot is slightly forward, and then we bring our heads to each other, and then our nose, lips, chest, hips, and let it recover back onto the foot. We get what we call a sleaze ripple. I think you want to see that one again. So we do a 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're great to practice together, let me tell you. Okay, so those are some ideas with ripples. And when you do the ripples in different ways, point the foot back. And we do a ripple this way if we take our head back and then our shoulders. We're doing a little bit of a sideways type ripple, but now we're combining it with a foot action. So if I combine it with feet, the feet are just going, changing weight. So I'm just going back. The main thing that's happening there is I'm trying to show you as a body action. So I'm letting my body create a curved shape this way. Then I'm starting to take the head forward. So I'm going through a curved shape forward and then back to straight. So I'm going back and forward. I can do that on either side. Back and forward. Okay, we'll be right back with the spins portion of this in just a moment.